All right, I'm joined here in the Media Center at the T-Mobile Match Play presented by MGM Awards with Alison Lee. Welcome to the Media Center, Alison.
Thank you for having me.
So first off, we'll start. You've had 2 top 10 finishes already this year, finished last year, very strong. What have you been working on both kind of mentally and physically since then to last year?
Honestly, I feel like I learned a lot about myself and my game at the end of last year, at the end of last season. And I feel like I almost had this weight lifted off my shoulders at the end of last season. Like I finally was able to break through a little bit and put myself more in contention and get comfortable and get used to like being in that position. Because definitely towards the end of last year, like that first week in Korea where I was in contention and ended up going into playoff with Minji, like I was so nervous. Like I definitely felt all the nerves, really anxious throughout the day, even, leading up to the weekend. And I think by the time CME came around, I felt like a little bit more sense of calm. I think a lot of that had to do with because I kept putting myself in that position because I haven't really been there in a while. And so I just kind of took that into this year. And yeah, that's how I've felt over the last couple weeks, like a little bit more sense of calm. Definitely, obviously nervous, but they're definitely good nerves. And yeah, like I said, I feel really good about my game right now. I'm hitting good shots. I feel really confident. And especially after the last 2 weeks, putting myself on the leaderboard consistently, I feel really good about where my game's at. And thankfully this time around, we have a full season ahead of us and we have plenty of golf left. So yeah.
Great momentum to start the year. So just talking about this event in particular, what do you like most about this course? How do you feel like it might suit your game this week?
Yeah, I love this course. I love Shadow Creek. It's definitely like one of my top 5 favorite courses I've ever played. So I definitely always love coming out here. Always a challenge as well. It's, no matter how many times I've played here, it's always tough. Even though I know all the places to miss, I know all the places I need to be. Even though you have all that inside knowledge, you still need to hit it good. So yeah, that's what I love about this golf course. I mean, you really need to play smart out here. And if you don't hit good shots, you're not going to be rewarded in any way. And I feel like, last week, even though the weather was tough on the weekend, it was definitely an easier course. You can get away with a few missed shots. But out here, like if you miss it in the wrong spot, it's really difficult to make par, which I really like about this golf course. And it should be a good test and a good challenge for everyone in the field, including me. I saw that the wind's going to follow us again for a 3rd week in a row. So that should be really interesting. I mean, I've never really played out here when it's super windy. I tend to kind of stay at home. We don't always get huge wind out here in Vegas. We do once in a while, and usually those days I just kind of stay at home because it's really, really tough to play in. So I think that's just going to add like a huge extra challenge to everyone in the field this week.
And with this event being match play, what's kind of your strategy heading into a match play? How do you kind of approach it differently than stroke play maybe? I mean, honestly, there's 100 girls, only 8 girls move on and play match play. So it's very much like I'm just going to try and have the same mindset as I did last week. I mean, last week I got tied for 8th, and I feel like I had a really good week. So I still need to have a good week this week if I want to be able to make it to the weekend and play match play. But yeah, I would say the first few days, just try and play my game, try and be patient. It's going to be really windy and tough out there. And I feel like I've just been on constant repeat, like trying to incorporate that in my mind over the last couple of weeks because we've had so much wind and it's really testing my patience because I keep thinking, okay, this is the last day. This is the last hole. I need to play in this. And then I look at the forecast and see that it's supposed to be crazy again. But yeah, I just need to be patient, I guess, out there. Like it's going to be so challenging. I mean, this course is already challenging with no wind at all. So yeah, I don't know if it'll be fun. But I'm going to try my best to make it fun. I'll open it up here. You have a question?
Hey, Alison, as someone who's played this course probably as much as anyone out here, what's the difference between playing in first week of April and Memorial Weekend like you guys had been?
I would say what I noticed today is, it's still warm and pretty firm out there, but I would say in general, it's not playing as firm as it does later, like more into the summer. When we played in the summer last year, I had quite a few tee shots where I'd have to lay up and hit a 5-wood or 3-wood. And this year I have no problem hitting driver because it's quite not running out as much. I would say the greens are still firm, but a hair softer than it normally is in the summertime, which is nice. That helps a lot. And with the wind, picking up this week, I believe the LPGA wants to keep the green speeds at 11 to 11 and a half. I know they originally wanted to make them around 12 and a half. So they're going to keep them slightly slower, which is slower than what we usually play in. And 11 is still pretty quick.
Right.
But yeah, I would say overall, that's the main thing. Anytime you have a course that's really firm, really fast, that makes the course a lot more difficult. And yeah, I would say the rough, I feel like too this week compared to when it's more in the summertime, it's like slightly more grabby and thick. So yeah, I would say, honestly, I think based on the forecast that we're going to get, I feel like it's definitely going to play a little more difficult now than it is when we played in the past, especially since now we're playing stroke play versus match play. Like in the past, you can play pretty aggressively, depending on where the pins are and stuff like that. But now you really, really have to play it safe this year. If you miss it in the wrong spot and you play almost too aggressively and you kind of go down a ridge or you end up on the wrong side of the green, it's so easy to make bogey. So it's definitely going to be a different, mindset and, course management, I think, for all the girls here this week who have played in the past. Like, it'll play very, very differently. Yeah.
So I've always found you to be very thoughtful and patient about everything. But how tired are you of the scenario of when are you going to get a win? And especially being in contention so much lately, every broadcast that gets brought up.
Yeah, it's been tough. I feel like over the last couple weeks, I feel like I played pretty good. Not to use this as an excuse, but I feel like the last couple weeks I was kind of not in the good wave. I played Friday afternoon both weeks last week, and that's when it was really windy and it was calm for everyone who played Friday morning. So I feel like that definitely put me back a couple strokes, and that would have been huge for PV. Even last week, just a couple strokes, couple more birdies would have really helped me. But this week, I got really lucky. Like, I'm in the good wave. I'm playing late early. It's supposed to be super windy Thursday afternoon, and I'm playing in the morning. So, yeah, I'm just going to take that and try and use that to my advantage, hopefully. Because, everyone who plays in the morning on Thursday on the second round is going to have a huge advantage. So, yeah, obviously, looking back at the last few events, it's been tough coming up a couple strokes short or sometimes only one stroke short. But I feel like I'm playing really good golf right now, and I can't complain. Obviously, I want that first win really badly, but I've tried to take a step back and look at this whole season of 2024, and I want to win more than once, I don't want to just have that first win and move on. I want to win multiple times out here. I want to establish myself as a dominant player. I want to make the Olympics this year. I want to make Solheim Cup this year. And this is, I feel like I have really good momentum coming into this season, and I feel really good about my game now. So hopefully, if I keep this up, if I can keep my game in this, keep in form like this, hopefully I can get more than one.
So speaking of dominant players, I want to ask about your thoughts on Nelly and what she's doing now, and what's it like when you see your name on the leaderboard?
Yeah, Nelly's one of those players I feel like is super easy to bet on. I feel like before you even tee it up, it's almost like if you know Nelly's game, she's going to win at least 5 times, at least. And I feel like last year, she wasn't able to get as many as she wanted, and I think that really fueled her this off season into working hard, and to see her win 3 times in a row is super amazing. I mean, it seems like super easy. Like she didn't even have to try that hard to win. So that just shows how good she is. But yeah, I mean, she's always, I think, someone that anyone out here competing against her needs to look out for.
And then on the opposite end, I wanted to ask you about the sponsor invite, McKenzie Hall, who's a junior at UNLV. I don't know if you've played with her locally or not, but as someone who came out here pretty young yourself, what is in store for her this week?
Yeah, I mean, I met her last night at the prom party. I've never played golf with her or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, to have your first LPGA event at a course like this, when the conditions are going to be like this, is going to be a rude awakening for her, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure she's played here quite a few times, so I think that helps. And she's a local too, which is nice. She can have a little bit more of an ease, like being at home and being a little bit more comfortable. But yeah, I mean, I hope she just takes it and just has a lot of fun. I mean, like I said, it's going to be tough for a lot of girls to just like have fun this week because it's going to be a lot. But yeah, I mean, I hope she enjoys every moment of it.
Question here.
How you doing? Brian Hurlbert, LasVegasGolfInsider.com and SI Golf. You've talked about the course already, but I'm going to ask it a little bit different way. There's a mystique about Shadow Creek. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about Shadow Creek?
First thing that comes to mind, I mean, for me, I would say bliss. Like I come out here a lot, not a lot, but I come out here once in a while to practice. And you have a huge short game facility back there in the back that you can spend all day on. The course is amazing. It's never too crowded out here. Like if I do come out here, I feel like it's just like any golfer's paradise or playground out here. Like when you can come out here, you can practice all day. You can play 18 holes. Every single hole you play out here is different. Like it's so distinct. Every single hole has its own like specific features and things that make that hole great. And they're all different as well. Definitely a course you would never expect to be like right in the middle of the desert. But yeah, I would say, I mean, I think everyone feels that way when they come out here. Like, I mean, this place is super awesome. I feel really lucky to be able to come here once in a while to practice and use the facilities. So yeah.
Great answer. One more question for you. Being in Vegas, you live here, but people from all over the world obviously come to Vegas for the experience. Golf is a huge part of that. Mm-hmm. How do you describe what golf in Vegas means in that overall experience? What can people expect when they come to Vegas for that experience?
For golf specifically?
Just in general, the Vegas vibe, the Vegas experience as someone who lives here. Because golf kind of intertwines with everything is what I'm talking about, but just the experience of Vegas. What's the first thing that comes to your mind about that?
Yeah, I mean that's why I moved here. I moved here about 7 years ago. I'm from LA originally. I moved here because I knew if I ever asked my friends or family to come visit me, if I got lonely, the answer will always be yes. And so that's why I chose this place. I mean, anytime I ask my friends or parents if they want to come for the weekend, it's always yes. There's so much to do. I mean, you can go play golf. There's so many golf courses, whether it's private or public. A lot of attractions. You can go watch a bunch of shows. I mean, I feel like every time my mom's come here to visit me, she's seen more shows than I have because she'll just come with her friends and stay at my place. You can go hiking. The food is really good. I mean, there's just endless things to do here, which is nice and which is why I love it. And I think that's why you see more golfers moving here. I mean, I think in the last year, there's been quite a few golfers that have moved here. Obviously, Colin Morikawa lives here, Kurt Kitayama, most recently, KK, Isaiah Salinda, Rico Hoey, Rose Zhang just moved here, Alison Corpuz just got a place here, I live here, Jenny Shin lives here. I mean, there's so many golfers, I think, who have finally discovered, like, all the things Vegas has to offer and has been moving here. So.
And then specifically about MGM, what's the hospitality like that MGM provides this week?
Yeah, I mean, they've been great. I've been an MGM ambassador for, I think almost 10 years. And they've been really great to me. I mean, and that's in addition, to why all my friends and family will come because they're like, oh, let's go to the spa or go get a free meal at one of the restaurants. And that's another addition to like a lot of the pros who live here who are MGym ambassadors will get together and we'll try one of the new restaurants or a nice restaurant on the strip that normally we wouldn't go to because it would be a couple $100 per meal. But MGM takes care of us in a really great way. And I'm really happy that they've stepped forward and they're having an event like this for women's golf on one of the top golf courses in the country. I mean, it's not very often that we'll play at a top 100 golf course unless we have a major. So to be able for them to open up their facility this week and give it to us, I think is super awesome. I mean, it's so expensive to play out here, so they're losing thousands of dollars every day for having us out here. So I think it's really cool that they're able to shut it down and open it up for us.
Thank you very much.
All right. Do you have a question?
I just have one quick question.
Okay.
I know that you played Sahalee back in 2016. Just kind of curious what you thought of it that week and just your thoughts about going back there this year for the KPMG Women's.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, Sahalee also is in my top 5 like favorite golf courses of all time. I love like West Coast golf and golf in the Northeast. Like I love tree-lined golf courses. I think that golf course is super challenging because it's really narrow, beautiful with all those tall trees, lining down the fairways. So I'm really, really excited to go back. And I know when we played there last time, the conditions were super amazing too. Like I remember just being in awe of the facilities, the grass, the fairways, like everything looked super pristine. So I'm really excited to go back.
Great. Thank you so much.
And then, Kent, I believe you have a question on the Zoom. If you want to unmute yourself now.
Hey, Alison, you mentioned earlier, tracking Solheim, tracking or aiming to make the Solheim team, aiming to make the Olympics. Is that something you're actively tracking week to week, or how are you keeping tabs on that?
Yeah, of course. At the end of last year, I didn't think I even had a chance to make Olympics. I mean, I was first alternate, basically. Stacy asked me if I could be first alternate for Solheim Cup. And so that was pretty crushing. And to end a season like that and to see that I had a potential to maybe make the Olympics, that would be a huge dream come true. And I can't lie, I've been checking that website every Monday morning. Like I definitely checked it Monday morning right after the conclusion of last week. So yeah, all my dreams are slowly becoming a reality, and I'm just trying really hard to stay patient. I mean, we have so many events left before the field will be set for the Olympics. I believe it's right after KPMG. But yeah, I'm just really, like I said, I've been thinking about it a little too much now, so I need to try my best to kind of stay calm and patient because we still have a few months left of golf and anything can happen. And I'm just going to try and take it, one day at a time, one tournament at a time, and hopefully everything falls into place. I mean, that was kind of the mindset and goal I had going into this season when I was practicing this off season. I would say my main big goals were hopefully winning my first LPGA event, making Solheim Cup team, and hopefully making the Olympics. And those are really big dreams, really big goals. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. But obviously as of right now, I would be going to Paris, but I don't want to get too worked up or too excited about that. And I'm just trying really hard to take it one day at a time. And like I said, I can't lie. It's definitely something that's in the back of my head, but I'm trying really hard to just kind of push it away and keep focused on, what's today and what's tomorrow and not let, next month's problems get to me. So yeah, I'm just trying to take it one day at a time.
And we've talked about the level of appreciation for the golf you're playing now. What within your golf game are you seeing that's allowed you to take these steps and capitalize on the mental side of it aspect you've improved upon?
I would say a lot of it has to do with confidence, like being in contention, like proving to myself that I can shoot these low rounds and see my name on the leaderboard. Because a lot of the time, you can feel really good about your game. You can feel good about your swing. Or the opposite. You can have a really bad warm up right before your round and you feel like shit basically, and you can still go out there and shoot a low number. And so, you never know where your game truly is until you tee it up on the first day or the second day and see what you shoot out there. So for the last couple of events, to be able to know that I can, shoot a low number and put myself in contention regardless of the conditions really adds confidence to myself, and proves to me that all the hard work I put in is working, and just trying really hard to trust in that and trust in the process, because it's really easy to get really down on yourself when you're out there, when you have a bad shot or a bad hole or a bad round. I mean, that's how I felt when I was in Singapore. I feel like I had a lot of expectations for myself, and I had a really, really bad first round, and I felt like I was spiraling a little bit, but I had to remind myself it's just one day, and anything can happen. And so, yeah, like those last 2 weeks playing good, it's just adds confidence to my game, I think, and it just adds that little bit of edge I think you need, because that's what you need if you want to come out here and win. Like, you need to be confident. You need to play aggressively too. I mean, that just knowing where your ball is going to go and knowing that you can hit the ball where you want to, it allows you to play more aggressively, and it allows you to play offensive golf versus defensive golf. Like, instead of worrying about where your drive's going to go or worrying about saving par, you kind of think differently with your approach to certain holes or your game of the round. Like, instead of worrying about making a par, making a bogey, you're like, I'm going to make a birdie here. Like, I know I can hit this pitching wedge within 15 feet and I can potentially make a birdie here. Like, it's just like a different mindset, and playing good just adds a little bit of confidence to that. So, yeah.
Thanks, Allison.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.